Today on the menu we have carp. Carp is a fish which swims in the sweet water, something like lake. I have very beautiful carp here, which is approximately 1.5 kilograms in weight. My fishmonger took out the insides, however left the scales on the fish. So my task first of all is to remove the scales, remove all these things and little swimming things, I don't even know what they're called, and then I can prepare my fish for tonight's dinner. I'm going to leave the head on the carp and the tail, because when I'm going to bake the fish it will retain the flavors and be more moist. Just for fun factor, I just checked it to have a look in carp's mouth, and actually I can't see any teeth. I put my finger inside there just to check it. There's no teeth whatsoever. So don't worry, I won't bite you. I won't bite you. Right, so let's start from removing the scales. You can see that the scales on the carp are quite large in size and they're golden in color. If you can see properly, that's it, that's the scales. So I'll put them to the side. Some traditions believe when you keep the scales from the carp for a whole year in your wallet, you will never be out of money. That's what my dad used to do, and that's what I do actually now. And funny enough, one of the person from work showed me this week, well actually last week, she showed me that she had a scale which I gave her approximately 3 years ago, which I was really surprised. So I'm not removing the skin, I'm just scaling the fish because I want to keep the skin on the fish. So it's not mainly the scales, they're mainly around the tail side, which I'm removing at the moment, just scraping with the very sharp knife. I'm not using large knife because my hands are quite small and I prefer it to use a smaller size. So you can see it comes out really easy. It's not that bad actually. It's a bit messy. And to be honest, it should be a guy's job, not a woman's job. But hey ho, I'm a handy woman and things have to be done. My husband actually is at work today and left me doing all the preparation for New Year's, well, Christmas Eve actually today. So today is Christmas Eve, and in many European countries, many people will have actually carp because it's a tradition. European people won't have any meat today, they will have only fish dishes. Like in my family, we used to have always 12 dishes, 12 different dishes, and never any meat, always fish. Used to have lots of herlings, but the carp was always the main fish. I'm changing slightly my recipe today, so I'm not frying. Usually my dad would fry the carp, however I'm going to bake it. I'm going to marinate it first, then make a nice farce of it, like a filling with roasted peppers, mushrooms, onions and some herbs. I'm going to put this inside the fish and then sew the fish so everything will be inside the fish, and I'm going to bake it for approximately 1 hour, I think, because it's quite big fish. So this side, let me just show you, is done. So you can see that the scales are mainly around the top part of the fish, just there. Or you can actually feel some still here. It's very slimy fish actually. I'm sure if you ask your fishmongers, they probably can do this for you. Because I bought the fish from the fishmongers who doesn't do it, I think they just go for like a large scale of sales. That's why I have to do it myself, but I don't mind. I do this like once a year. So I can see my fish is getting nice and clean. So I have to do it this side now. Underneath, around the belly side. You can really feel it. You can actually hear it. I'm going to wash some of these large scales, the nicest ones. And when I go back to work in January, I'm going to give to a few people. Because it's a tradition. And if you believe something, things happen. The secret will happen. Right. Now let's do it on the tail. Oh, that's a lovely scale. Look on that. Look how shiny it is. Some of the fishes which I had before, like if you buy sea bass or other fishes, they have lots of scales. It takes ages to do. But this one is not too bad. It just takes time, doesn't it, to do it properly. Right. As you get used to it, as you do it a few times, you will be so perfect at it. I only do it, like I said, once a year. I don't think I even done it last year. I think last year I went to somebody else for dinner. So I wasn't cooking, but this year I'm hosting tonight's party. So it's gonna be perfect. Right, so I can't see any more scales on top. You can just move your hand around it and feel it. So it's nice and smooth. And that will be the hardest part actually for me, cutting it. So I just move the fish on this side and now I'll start from this side. So with your left hand, if you just grab it very tightly, if you can see it, and use your knife and just try to cut it. Just be careful of your fingers because it's quite tough. You can actually hear it. Bigger the fish, the tougher and thicker the bones will be. So that's one of the parts. It's going straight into the back, and I will take it outside so it doesn't smell inside the house. Oh, this one actually was quite easy. Oh, look, I'm almost swimming. Right, so this side is done. Now let's do this side. The same principle. Grab it quite tight. Put your knife and cut it. Oh. Getting out of breath already. See? Poor carp. Was swimming in the water not long ago and now it's going to be on my table. I know some people actually cut the heads off and wash them properly and make a soup out of it, like a fish soup. But I don't think anyone from my family would eat that, to be honest. Too fussy. Right, so that side is done. Now you can just see the little bit leftovers of the scales, just to remove it. Let's remove this part now, next to the tail. So again, just put your knife in there. It's so slippery, you have to be careful not to cut your finger. Hold the fish. That's a tough one, isn't it? Let's do like this side maybe. Remember after just to disinfect the area properly, because obviously we cutting the fish and scaling everywhere, so make sure you spray it properly with disinfectant spray just to avoid any bacteria from spreading. saying that, people eat sushi, which is raw fish anyway, so should be okay. It's not like chicken. With chicken you have to be extra careful. Oh, that's a very long one actually. I can really feel it inside. I think I need to do it all the way. Ooh, oh, hello. Came to say hello to you. Let's just try it this way. Oh dear. Sometimes people show you these things, show you the videos, and they make it look so easy. But actually, it's a tough job. Look on this piece. It's quite thick actually, quite thick buns. There we go, straight to the bin. Right, and just inspect the fish. So it's nice and smooth everywhere. Now, let's cut this part as well, because I don't really need this part in the oven. So if I hold that fish upright, try to feel the bone somewhere here on top. Put your knife. I think I'll use it this way. Where is this little bone? It's actually a very difficult thing to do. Ouch! Careful, because they're very, very sharp. I think I start from this side now. Oh, that's better. So start from the bottom, it's easier. Don't do it from top. From the tail side. Can you hear the bones? How heavy, how hard they are. Oh dear, I'm out of breath. Right. Still a bit more. That's why it's very important to have a nice and sharp knife. But just be careful with your hands. And this is the toughest part, right on top of the fish. If I just move it all the way around. Oh, it's so sleepy. And do it from this side now. Can you hear it? Poor fish. Oh yes, done. So this part was the toughest one, the top part. I remove a little bit of flesh, but it doesn't matter. It had to be done this way. So it's going into the bin. So that prepared fish, this way, I'm going to wash it now. I'm going to put some salt and pepper around there, and then put it back in the fridge for approximately 1 hour, when I prepare my filling for the fish with the fried onions, mushrooms and roasted pepper. And then I will put it in the oven with some water and spiced water. Put it in the oven for approximately 1 hour just to bake it. Well, just to oven cook it basically. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps you to do this horrible but must be done task. And see you next time. How will I touch this now? Oh, sorry. Sorry, my phone.